Peter Chang here, and we've reached step 12. And in step 12 I decided to pick up some nut drivers. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and pick up some nut drivers before you do the first step of attaching your transmission to your SCX-60 CF. So essentially, you could get by without nut drivers if you're just running an RTR truck and you don't really have too many things to screw in, and the plastic things that are included in the RTR kit are just fine. However, when you're building something more advanced like the X-Factory SCX-60 CF, you really do need some nut drivers. So in my previous parts of the build, I really wasn't happy with getting some of these parts correct. So with the nut drivers, I'm able to go back there and just make sure that the parts really are screwed in nice and tight. And this part is kind of critical. It's the part where the transmission is attached to the chassis. So I'm just going to go back in here and go back and just double check everything at this point of my build. And in essence, it's just taking this little precautionary step to make sure that everything's going okay. Once again, for the nut drivers, for the smaller nut drivers, and then all the stuff is metric, I've chosen the Wiha ones. I really love the quality. They also seem to have great distribution. It's relatively easy to find, and we have a couple of local hobby shops in town, and two out of the three carry the Wiha nut drivers. So these are pretty good, and they're made in Germany. Another great value in nut drivers are the Dynamite brand. Dynamite is a subsidiary of Horizon Hobby, and pretty much it's supported by a larger company. And what's interesting about the Dynamite brand of nut drivers is that it's even cheaper than the Wiha brand, and it's physically it seems bigger than the Wiha version. Once again, you do have the rotating cap, and we do have some rubberized grip, and the grip actually feels very good. It really doesn't feel like a cheaper tool necessarily. So one thing is, like, and as you can see, the rotating end cap does come in really handy. This nut driver is actually manufactured in Taiwan as opposed to Wiha's made in Germany label. But once again, it does do the job. When you're working on your SCX-60 CF, I highly recommend getting English, or you might say Imperial versions, or the English-based system of measurement. So inches, and might say like the fraction might say 3/16 or 5/8, for example. You could actually maybe perhaps pick up some metric ones for some other kits as well. Thanks for watching, and remember, everything matters.